Welcome back to Geek TheoCast, the podcast where fandoms and faith intersect. I'm Steven, and with me is my co-host, Elf on the Shelf, Jason.
What's up,
Uh,
everyone? Today we're diving into the timeless classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's more than just a fun holiday movie. It's packed with themes about acceptance, purpose, and shining your light in the world. So stick around because at the end, we've got a fun challenge to help you live these themes out in your life, especially in this holiday season.
all right, let's set the stage. Rudolph tells a story of a young reindeer, a very young reindeer, with a glowing red nose, rejected for being different. Even Santa initially doubts his worth.
You know it's bad when even Santa doubts your worth.
Yeah, seriously.
But as much as but what's great about it is it's an underdog. It's about an underdog. An under reindeer, I guess you could call it. It's interesting because his greatest flaw, his red nose that just shines so bright, it's so weird, it's so different, but yet it's what's his flaw becomes his strength. It's such a wonderful way to see how to use it to see how like even God works in our lives, taking our weaknesses and turning them into something powerful, something that's useful, something that at the time we may look at and we may say, God, why do I have this? Why did you give this to me? Why is this something I'm dealing with? Or, why is this a part of me? And the Lord's like, well, because you're going to need it later. Like, you're definitely going to use it later. I'm like, oh, okay. But we don't know that right now. Just like at the beginning, when Rudolph was born and everyone was making fun of his red nose, why did he have this red nose? He tried to cover it up and everything. Well, here's the deal. It was going to come into use later.
That's true. It reminds us that being different doesn't mean you're less valuable. It often means you are uniquely equipped for a special purpose. In Ephesians 2:10, uh, ever God bless Owensby that made me do that stupid word study on Ephesians 2:10. I think it was Owensby. I don't remember, but there's a word there. It says, "For we are the passages. For we are a workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works." That word workmanship translates. So if you get the Greek and you translate it, it literally means a masterpiece. It means that Shayna is Michelangelo's David. That Melinda, who is our producer, um, is a masterpiece. That my nieces, all of my nieces, physical and adopted, are a masterpiece. It means that, Gilbert and Will and everybody else that joined from the raid earlier are God's masterpiece. In Jeremiah 1 5, it says, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I had a plan for you. I have set you aside to be a prophet to the nations." It reminds us that we are God's masterpiece, even amongst our inabilities. It means that we are uniquely equipped for a very special and unique purpose.
Absolutely.
All right, let's dig into the deeper meanings.
Love that.
We've already kind of touched on deeper meanings, but let's go a little bit deeper. The first thing that jumps out to me is the idea of redemption through difference. Rudolph's red nose is mocked, yet it's the key to saving all of Christmas. Like in First Corinthians 1:27 says, God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so,
Go ahead.
well, it's kind of like David and Goliath. Here you have a 12-year-old boy that literally throws a stone at a giant's head and then goes, "Oh, you're dead," and we see, well, as far as I know, the first decapitation in all of history. And in the Bible, but just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, Rudolph's story is such a perfect example of how God does not make mistakes. What others see as a flaw, God can use for his glory. We've all been that. We've all been there. We've seen our own flaws, which kind of it's hard because we see our flaws and we see them as flaws because we know how things should be. And many times it's not necessarily how things should be, but in our minds, that's how we perceive it. We perceive it that I can't be different. Like I have to fit into, here's the mold, and this is how I have to fit into this. Rudolph had to fit into this mold to be normal, quote unquote, to not have a red nose that just lit up, essentially every time he took a breath. Like it's interesting because it's like it's okay to be different. God made us different for a reason. He made us different for a purpose. If we were all the same, then life would be boring. Like I look at this and I see how oh my gosh, what do you call it? I look at it and the Bible says we are the body of Christ. And you can't have a body that's made up of a bunch of hands because that would just be weird, right? You have to have all these other pieces to be the body of Christ, to function properly. And again, we look at something and we say, well, that's a flaw or that's wrong or whatever. Like we have to have these expectations that we meet. And really, Rudolph teaches us that you don't have to meet those expectations. Like, yeah, we want to fit in. But sometimes the way we think we need to fit in is not where we actually fit in. Because sometimes that's boring. Like, if Rudolph was just like every other reindeer, then okay, congratulations, you have another reindeer just like everyone else. But instead, he's different, And I know this is just a fictional story; it's not real, but still, like, how many times have we taken that and how many times have we prayed, Lord, I don't want to be like this. I want to be like others, I want to be good at this sport, or I want to be good at that, or I want to look like this, or I want to look like that. And it's like, God's like, but I made you special the way you are. Like, everyone has a place, and that's the beauty of it. What makes us different can actually be our strength. And God knows what he's doing, to be quite honest.
Yeah, God knows what he's doing. If we don't fit in, that's okay. Like, it's totally okay. As a matter of fact, the Bible tells us that as Christians, we're not meant to fit in. We're not meant to be accepted. Honestly, as long as we focus in on God, Jason, focus in on God. Listen to me. Focus.
I don't know why I'm not listening.
Focus in on God. I was just seeing if you got the secret message.
Yes, I did. I don't know why it's not focused. All of a sudden it's blurry.
Okay.
I have it right here on my iPad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is weird because I'm on my thing, I'm focused, but for some reason here, I'm not. There we go. Maybe that worked.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me.
Anyways,
brother.
go ahead.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Another big theme is light. Rudolph's nose shines in the darkness, guiding the way for Santa's sleigh. It makes me think of John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Okay, there's one of my favorite quotes in Kingdom Hearts, one of my favorite video games of all time. Says, wherever there's light, darkness will also be there. Like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't believe in Eastern stuff. But here on Earth, whenever there is light, darkness is going to try to corrupt it. Point blank. You know, we have to understand that God's light is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And as we have to shine that light, especially during this season where we celebrate his birth.
Yeah. There's a lot of darkness going on around us. And especially like this time of the year, we can get so caught up in many things that to be honest aren't really that important. There's so many people who are looking for truth, people who are looking to just find not their place in this world. To quote Michael W. Smith, they're looking for a way to fit in, so to speak. Not necessarily fit in with everyone else, but just figure out who they are, you know. And there's so much darkness going on, which is sad, like, because there's so many people who don't have hope. And yet Jesus is that light, you know, like you just read, John said about him. And then what's interesting is when you go to the book of First John, not the Gospel of John, but the book of First John, and John, the disciple, the apostle, both, he continues to talk about how Jesus is the light and everything, and it's so true, because I mean, even as Christians, like, there's so much darkness that's going on. There's so much, the world's pulling us this way and that way, and it can feel so overwhelming. But yet, when there's light, that's when you feel more hopeful. That's when you feel more safe, more secure, because you can see what's going on. In darkness, you can't. And that's what Jesus does, is he gives us that light. And you know, in Rudolph, it's a foggy night. There's a blizzard. It's storming. I mean, if Rudolph didn't have his nose, then Santa wanted to cancel Christmas. Like, he comes out and he says, I guess we're gonna have to cancel Christmas. Like, this is coming from Santa. Maybe the dude was just tired. He just wanted some excuse, and he finally got an excuse. And then he's like, okay, well, we got Rudolph, so I guess we won't cancel Christmas, you know? Because he would not have been able to see had Rudolph not had his special gift, aka his red nose, you know? And he needed that to get through the storm. Just like we need Jesus, we need Christ, our ultimate light, in that darkness. And the thing that we have to remember is that light's not from us. That light's from Jesus. We on our own, we can't do anything. It's Jesus who does. We just get to be like the mirror, right? Or you can use, you know, you can say the mirror to reflect the light, or you can even say the moon, right? To reflect the light. But that's what we're called to do, is to reflect his light and do our best, because again, there's so many people who need that light. So then why do we keep that light to ourselves? We can all be guilty of that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's something to ponder.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a beautiful connection, man. It's a reminder of the Christ's love.
Yeah.
Christ is the ultimate light in darkness. And as believers, we're called to reflect in that light. So,
yeah,
Jason, let's get into the real world application.
Okay. So, yeah, let's see. So, Stephen, how do we apply this to our own lives?
For me, it's about
kind of hit on it, but
okay, for me, it's about embracing the things that make us different. God doesn't waste anything. What we see as a weakness might actually be our strength in his plan.
Yeah. And it's also a challenge to us as Christians to be more accepting. Like Santa and the other reindeer eventually are. Sometimes we can judge other people for being different, and really we should celebrate their uniqueness. It's hard because we want things to look a certain way for ourselves, but yet we don't necessarily do that for others. This doesn't mean embrace sin. If someone's in sin, that doesn't mean embrace them who's in sin. But you ready for this, Stephen? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to step on. About to be a little offensive. You ready?
Go ahead.
There is no one way that Christians look. That means
no, really?
You can walk into a church. Yeah, you can walk into a church, and Christians can be dressed in a 3-piece suit or length dress, hair up, makeup, no makeup, whatever. You can walk into a church not in a 3-piece suit, shorts and a t-shirt.
Hey, does that mean I can go to church in PJs?
Well, I mean, that's, whatever. That's on you. But the point is, we should not look at other people and be like, oh, you're not really a Christian. I mean, look at their fruit. Don't look at how they're dressed. I mean, have discretion, obviously. But if someone gets saved, why do we expect them to all of a sudden change everything about themselves? Isn't it a process? Isn't discipleship a process?
Oh, sanctification is a process.
When we see people, and so if we see someone, our prayer should be, Lord, help me to see this person's unique gifts. Help me to see this person the way you see them. Not as, well, everyone else looks at them and they look weird, so yeah, they must look weird. No, Lord, how can I see them the way you see them? And let the Lord open our eyes so we see that. So we see them. So we can love them the way God loves them.
Right. Let's not forget about God's timing. Rudolph's gift wasn't understood right away, but when the moment came, it was essential. That's a reminder to trust God's timing, even when we don't see the bigger picture. Okay, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. When I got evicted from my place, I did not know what to do. I'm just sharing a little bit of what was going on that first 2 weeks. I literally was staying in a hotel because I was told one thing and things happened and led to another, and I ended up staying in the Salvation Army for 2 months. Well, a month. Oh, by the way, guys, it's Christmas time. Go see your local bell ringers and give them some change. Come on. It helps people. It really does. That's my own shameless plug for the Salvation Army. But, you have to trust God's timing. God knows what he's doing. He knows what's going on in your lives, in our lives, in everybody's lives. He knows, okay, I'm going to be a little personal here. He knows if the timing is right and you're supposed to get married. He knows if the timing is right and you've been barren for years and, you're hoping for a baby. God knows the timing. God knows the timing if you need to give up an addiction. God knows the timing if you need to work on yourself for mental health. God knows the timing. The hardest thing for a Christian to do is trust completely in God. Because let me tell you something. People that trust completely in God, they're scary. Like point blank, they are scary. Because whatever life comes at you, they're like, I'm not going to worry about it. God's got it under control, and He'll provide a way. Point blank, they are scary like that.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to say that on there. All right, but you know what? Let's get into a little bit of fun in our next section. Let's wrap up with some fun. Let's talk about our favorite Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer moments. I'm going to go ahead and go first, Jason. Even though our script says different,
All right.
I'm not going to follow this part of the script just because they're not my favorite moments according to the script.
Go for it.
But my favorite moment in the entire script, in the entire movie, is two parts. One, when the dad tries to hide the nose, and the other moment where Hemi pulls the abominable snowman's teeth. They're hilarious to me.
11:57 p.m.
Yeah. I don't really have like a favorite moment. I did have a few questions. I will say I have a few questions. What's the thing's name? Moonriser or whatever, the griffin, the lion with wings, and who's
Yeah, I
over.
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my question. So like he told them, I know he told Rudolph to, like get Santa and go get everyone, but like was he like just away, or like what would have happened when he came back? Or was he like asleep when Santa came and then he woke up? Because at some point he's going to realize, oh snap, I'm by myself. So then would he continue to go get more toys, or would he just be like, yeah, you know what, I'm done. I've done my job. So I'm out. Deuces.
I
don't know.
I don't know, but
but anyways, no, but I mean, all in all, it's a good movie. And yeah, I was just, I don't know. And I did notice at the end, Donner is not part of the group. Like Rudolph's dad, Donner is not part of the group. Like, why is that? Like, is he?
I think Donner
done?
was his dad.
Yeah, no more. What? No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, whenever they go to fly off at the end, Rudolph leads it, but Donner's still there. Donner's like left behind. Like he wasn't. I'm not mistaken. So did he just get replaced or what?
I'm gonna go with Vacation. Shayna's saying, why weren't you at elf practice? And there is,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the dentist guy. Is her favorite. Guys, while Jason is asking his questions, tell us your favorite. Tell us your favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I will
know.
say this though. Okay. But I will say this though, to get off the questions, I do find it, I do kind of like the fact, as predictable as it is, that they say all the lines from the songs.
Yes.
So like you can follow the progression of the story from the song. Like, oh, we're having reindeer games. Oh, we're not going to let you play any more reindeer games. Anytime he comes around, no one's going to let you play reindeer games anymore. And then Santa, later on, Rudolph, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? I like that. I mean, there's not anything special about it, but it's just easy. Of course, it's also a kids movie, so they can keep up with it.
All right, so let's talk about some of these quotes. Our producer said,
Yeah.
"I'm cute. She thinks I'm cute." as soon as you said that, my mind immediately went to that scene, Miss Producer, and literally I was like, I totally see the scene you're talking about. His nose is glowing like super bright. It's like cutesy, all fun. Yes. Then Shayna
What
says,
she didn't tell you is real quick. What she also didn't tell you is whenever Miss Producer called me cute, that's exactly how I responded. I started flying in the air, and people were like, "Whoa, look at that guy! He can jump!" And I'm like, "She called me cute."
"Okay, guys,
I didn't have a red nose.
guys,
Sorry, I
just
like Miss Producer.
just put a sad face for Jason. Just put a sad face in chat. Just he needs our prayer.
All right.
Just here. I'm gonna help you, Jason. Right here. This is what I'm gonna do for you. Okay, watch this. Watch this. Watch this.
Okay.
There you go. Sad face. Shayna says stares in singleness. Shayna, I'm right there with you, girl. I get you. Fist bump. Fist bump. There we go. Okay. Moving on. If I can get my
No.
Yeah. And that's how he was chosen to lead the Ranger team. Okay, and in other news, let's go to our challenge. Okay, so now it's time. We all know we do a weekly challenge when we do a podcast. Why? Because it's important to put our faith into practice. So it's time for this episode's challenge. We want to encourage you to reflect on the themes of Rudolph and apply them to your life this holiday season.
Yep. So, to all of our listeners, our wonderful supporters, here's our challenge to you. Think about someone in your life who might feel like a misfit. Maybe they're a little different. Maybe they're going through a hard time. This week, reach out to them. Maybe it could be something simple like inviting them to a gathering, giving them a word of encouragement, or just listening to them. We're all kind of misfits in our own ways. But find those that really feel out of place and just try to connect with them in some way.
That's good stuff, Jason. Okay, here's the second part of the challenge. Look at your own life. What's something you have been hiding or ashamed about? I know for a long time, I'm going to be blunt and honest, for me it was porn. A long time. I don't struggle with that anymore, by the grace of God, but it's been a struggle for years. Pray about how God might want to use that for his glory, just like Rudolph's nose was used to save Christmas.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you, to be quite honest. I'm there with you. And the good news is the Bible says the Lord works everything for the good of those who love him. God can take anything that we've been through, whether it's something we've done to ourselves or something someone else has done to us. It's amazing that he truly can take anything and use for his glory. And we get to take that, we get to share it with others, and we get to say, hey, I know how you feel. I've been there. Because again, the enemy wants us to feel alone and isolated, but don't. Like, you had all these misfit toys and they all had their own thing, but the truth is they had their own island. Like they were misfits together, and Rudolph and the elf, like they felt the same way. They're like, hey, we fit here. Cornelius, like, hey, we all fit here. We can be here because we're around other misfits. And that's what makes it so great. And so, I mean, we're all misfits in our own way, but yeah, like I would encourage, take everything that you've gone through and just say, Lord, how can I use this for your glory? What can I do? Like I may not like what I'm going through or why I went through it, but Lord, at least give me peace and patience to know that one day I will be able to use this for your glory. And so for the rest of you, we'd love to hear how this challenge goes for you. Make sure you reach out to us on social media, email us, streamers at geektheocast.com, share your stories. Some of you have our numbers, call, like text us or just talk to us and just be like, hey, here's what I'm doing with my challenge, or here's what the Lord's showing me through this challenge. Because I want to say this, Stephen, if I can. Okay, you ready? It's okay to not be perfect, because none of us are. But it is truly by the grace of God that we're here. We all need God's grace as much as anyone else. No one needs it more than someone else. We all need it. We're all our own misfits. But allow the Lord to speak to you and show you how he's going to, not how he can, but how he will, because I believe he will, how he will take what makes you unique or what you've been through, your misfitness, if you will, how he can take that, how he will take that and use it for his glory to do great things.
I am going.
So share your stories with us.
Yep. I am purposely going to make a word of the day next week, and misfitness is going to be the word of the day because of Shayna.
There you go. Yeah, I saw her say that and I was like, I really like that word.
Yep.
Misfitness.
I agree. All right. So on that note, let me do this real quick. On that note, Jason, you were a kid pastor for years. So
was 7 years.
Here is my question. What's one biblical principle we can teach our kids if we have them using Rudolph's story?
Yeah. Honestly, it would just be the idea that God has a purpose for everyone, even when others don't see it, even when we don't see it. Because again, that's what that happens. Others don't see it. Maybe we see it if we're lucky, or in most cases, we don't even see it. We don't understand it. But we just need to teach kids that it's okay. We need to teach kids to embrace who God made them to be and shine their light into the world. And not just kids, but adults too. Because adults need to understand that as well.
Right. Good job, Jason. Guys, that's all the time. I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No. I was going to say good job to you as well.
All right, guys. That's all for today, folks. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer reminds us to embrace our differences, trust God's timing, and shine our light in the darkness.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Geek TheoCast. We're on Instagram. Well, we're on most platforms.
Yeah.
But anyways, make sure you share it. You like it. You subscribe. You share it. Because we obviously need to grow. We want to grow because we want to try to reach as many people as we can. So until next week, next week, we'll dive into another holiday classic. I think we said A Year Without Santa Claus. So
which I'm excited about.
So make sure you join us.
All
Me
right.
too.
Until then, stay nerdy, stay faithful, and last but not least, Excelsior. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Excelsior.
All right. Now that that's done real quick, I want to read a couple of these comments. And I'm just going to trim this off. Jesus gives us our superpower spiritual gifts. I have preschoolers. Yes. Your wife posted this. I love Jesus. I can't fly. Sorry. And misfitness. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, Shayna. Not. Oh, I got an ad break. Hold on. Well, I don't know if she's there or not. I'm gonna keep. I don't think she has an ad. I'm not sure, but any case.
I have. Well, I'm seeing an ad, but I'm not like.
Okay, so I'll just wait for a few seconds. I gotta stretch my neck. Oh, that hurts. Oh. Oh.
There's an Indiana Jones game.
Yeah.
All right, my Twitch is off of.
Yeah, I kind of okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Shane is back. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Me and Jason will try to come up with. We won't start it in December just because our schedule's so short. What we'll do in January is me and Jason will talk about getting, like, whether that's our producer in a Discord call and joining us on the chat, or getting you or getting anybody that wants to be a part of conversation in. That way we can have a little bit more interaction with the community once a month. That way it could be someone new, may add some different insights, stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and do that probably starting in January, as long as it's okay with my co-host, which we'll talk about later if he doesn't want to respond right now. But
Yeah, sure.
but
Plus, it would be adding someone who looks and sounds prettier than us.
okay, you're already married. You don't have to suck up that hard.
Oh, I'm not. It's not sucking up when it's true.
I'm gonna pray. Okay, never mind. All right. No, Jesus, Lord help me. Lord help me. Also next week,
You need Jesus.
yeah. Next week, some of our logos and some of our frames and stuff's going to change. We will have, we will be doing a showcase of some of our merch next week as well, so you guys can see some of it. And we'll also be doing I want to do something called, and Jason, remind me to do this week. That's why I'm saying it. We're going to be doing, starting next week for 2 weeks, we're going to be calling it a holiday prayer list. And that's a list of someone you know that's not saved. We're going to be praying for this holiday season, or someone that's depressed and needs God to intervene. We're going to be praying for that this holiday season. And you could join us doing that as well. Okay. I love how I just throw things on you, like when we're live, and it's like you can't do anything. But
I'm like, we didn't talk about this. But here's the thing, though. I'm really going to object? Like, you're gonna do prayer? Like, I'm really going to object to prayer? Really? What am I gonna say? Hey, we need to pray for
you
our
could
country.
do that. You
we're
could
gonna
do
pray
that.
for our country every week.
Yeah.
What? No, I don't want to pray for other people, even though that's a major part of who we are.
Major part.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Shayna says, I sound like an Irish Southern country girl. My voice ain't that good. Shayna, me and you have talked real life. That's a lie. Okay. So, we are going to go ahead and end it. And we are going to see you guys next week. We will post in Discord what time next week. It should be Wednesday again, just because that's, well, I think for the most part, that's the easiest time for me and Jason to do it right now. Hopefully it will be
as of right now,
earlier.
yes.
hopefully it will be earlier, but we'll see. All right, guys. I love you guys. We will talk to you soon. And for those who want to hang out tomorrow, I will be streaming Minecraft and be making those logos for the shirts. That way we can get them out. Because I am really excited about that. I'm not even gonna lie. So we're gonna end the
That'd be
stream,
good.
and we love you guys. Talk to you later.